Well, here we are, myself and John Healy, our spokesman on housing, with tenants from the West Kensington estate. We're going to be exhilarated and excited, I suppose, by the speech to be made by Grant Shapps, their housing spokesman. Well, turn it on.
As we transfer power from the parliamentary estate to your estate, from the Westminster village to your village, from Downing Street to your street, together we will build the homes, the communities and the future that this country needs. Together we will become a nation of home builders. Thank you.
Well, there you are, Ellie. They've heard his words. You live on the estates. What do you think?
Well, I think the estate's a nice estate, but I think the last time they were in, they did nothing for the working class people. And, you know, I don't trust them. I don't believe their promises. It's just all words.
So a lot of soft words, warm words then, really. What do you think of that, Charlie?
Well, I've spent quite a bit of time with Greenhouse on the estate and in the council, and he comes over as a blustery sort of bloke, because he said to me, I want to knock all the estates down in the borough and build streets. He said, that is my ambition.
Who was that?
Stephen Greenhouse, the leader of the council.
Oh yeah.
And he's
an ordinary man, he believes in streets then, did he?
Yeah. but these streets aren't going to be for social housing.
No.
No. They're going to be houses with gardens front and back.
Very expensive.
Yes, very expensive for the right sort of people.
Well, there we are. These very conflicting views that we've got about at the Tory Housing Spokesman. I must admit, I found there was a bit of soft face, half face, but that's not new. They are putting on one face which appeals to a lot of people, but the hard facts of what's behind it all. Well, I've got one example of it here, a document of a meeting in March that involved the 4 council leaders in London, 2 deputy London mayors, and surprise, surprise, the Tory Housing Spokesman, Mr. Grant Shapps. You know what they discussed at this meeting was a lot different from what we've heard on the television. Let me just give you an example of that, of this hard, soft face image. You remember we had Mr. Hannan, the Tory MEP, telling us the real story of what the health service was. It was miserable and they were going to actually say that it was a disgrace, whereas Mr. Cameron was clearly saying, I believe in the National Health Service, right? And then let us take Europe. You can see it this week. Mr. Cameron saying, I'm not sure whether I'll have a referendum or not. We'll have to talk about it at the time. By the hard right making it clear there's going to be a referendum or they'll split the party as it always does. Now, this one on housing is classic. Here's a case of Mr. Shapps attended a meeting in March with these leaders. They make decision about housing and they're deciding on what kind of housing policy they should have. Now in this document, which was got by the Freedom of Information, they ask a number of questions. You note first of all it's been redacted. You know that word, hide the names of the people who said it. And when you see the questions you're asking, you're not surprised that they've hidden it. Let me give you some example. It was a discussion. He said, how can we end homes for life? This is on the estates. Or the estates are barracks for the pure, but you can't see who asked the question. They are elected councillors, Tory councillors making decisions. And then he said, it's going to be hard to get rid of people on the estates. No answer to the question. How brave will politicians be in dealing with rent controls and tenure? On the route then, the old Tory policy, whack up the rents that comes in as they've done before. And I like the one where they actually said, who are the poor? What is a poor person, somebody asked. Well, you can understand that with a leadership coming from the Bullington Club. They thought poor people were the Oxford students. They've probably never been on an estate. And I have to say, Mr. Shapps, what about telling us the real policy that's going on? The old policy that used to run down council housing, sell them off. We inherited a £20 billion in disinvestment in housing. No decent investment. And we brought it in. That was one of the programmes we did, as well as building houses. So to that extent, it's the old Tory story. But at the moment, one thing different. That difference is the Tories put it up soft, plan hard. That's what we got with the Tory party. What's new? Leopards don't change their spots. So, Mr. Grandchap, what about telling us what the truth is, like Mr. Hannon was doing with the health service? What is the real Tory party, Mr. Cameron? I suspect you don't even know. I forgot to say, Mr. Cameron, one very pertinent question which it says on here. The councillor asked it, we'll need a PR role to sell this. By God, you will.